Okay, let's talk about laying out our passive amplifier design on your base board here. Now you've already planed this down to the correct thickness. So the thickness of the board should be this measurement right here. So go ahead and double check that again to make sure you're accurate. Now we need 3 segments. I'm using what's called a combination square here. You can see this slides back and forth, and I can tighten this knob to hold it in place. Do not take this part off of the ruler. If you do, by accident, talk to me so I can get it fixed, because if this little screw gets lost, my $13 square turns into a $2 ruler. So please don't take that apart. So the first measurement we need is this 4.5 here, or this width, whatever your width is what we're looking for right here. I'm going to start by placing my ruler or my square so it's even on the top like this and close to one edge. I'm just going to mark a line down like that. What this does is gives me a square line with the edge. So when I cut that on the miter saw or on the bandsaw, I'll know that's exactly square. Now I need 3 boards that are this width. Mine is 4.5. Yours is whatever your plan is. So here's what I'm going to do. I'll take a ruler, line up with the bottom. Starting measuring at my line, I'll measure over that distance and place a mark. Then bring the square over again. Make sure it's tight against the top of the board. Mark it all the way down. Measure over again, same distance. It's this distance right here. Mark it again. Measure over one more time and mark it again. So right now you should have 3 segments laid out on your board that are all the same size. Next, I'm going to lay out my centerpiece here that's cut for the phone. So the sides are 1/2 inch. So working in just this centerpiece now, I'm going to take my ruler. I'm going to measure over 1/2 inch, place a mark. Same thing on the other side. I'll measure over 1/2 inch and place a mark. It's kind of hard on this ruler with this markings here to see the half, so I'm going to go over from my 2. Once I have these 2 1/2 inch marks that represent this line and this line, I'll bring my ruler over and just draw those all the way down like that. This depth is 2.5. For that, I'll use the combination square and set the square to 2.5 inches on here. So 1, 2.5. I'm going to line up the base of this square with 2.5 and then just mark it in like that. So there's 2.5 inches here. Now I can place my square on the top of my board so it's flat. And I'm just going to use that to draw a line all the way across the inside of that piece like that. Okay. So what I've drawn so far, what you're seeing is this shape like that. And now I need this 1-inch square box over here, 1 by 1. Again, follow these same processes on yours, just put them with your measurements in your location. So now I'll measure over 1 inch like that. I'm just going to mark 1 inch over like that. Now I'll use my square again against the bottom and just get a straight line like that. And then I'll measure down 1 inch. Then I'm going to go ahead and just connect that like that. Okay. Now I'm going to take my eraser and I'm going to erase out these lines that I don't want to cut on so I don't cut them by mistake. And then the center part, I'm just going to go like this across the center so I know what I want to get rid of. and what I want to keep, like that. Okay, so here's the center board in your passive amplifier. Go ahead and rewind if you need to, but get that done. Next step is the front board here. So I have measurements across the bottom that locate the center of my 1-inch hole. So I'll do this on my left board here. I'm going to measure up 1 inch, just place a mark. Then I'm going to measure over 1 inch and place a mark. So that mark right there is 1 inch up and 1 inch over, and that is the center of this hole. You don't need to worry about it, about drawing the actual hole in. We'll use a 1-inch drill bit, so all we need to know is the center. These measurements may be different on yours, so make sure you're double checking your plans. Okay, so if you look what I have here, this board here, this is the front board with the hole in it. This board here, this is the center board where the phone goes. And this board here, this is the back board that holds the phone in. Now, if you're not sure about your design, go ahead and take your scissors, cut this one out, and place it right on top. It should be exactly the same because we printed these at 1-to-1 scale sketch. Make sure you have your name somewhere on here as well so it doesn't get mixed up.